right, Joey, why don't you go ahead and get us kicked off this morning? Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Coach, I know you've been banged up a little bit at wide receiver. How you looking this week, and do you have anybody that cannot play in the game?
Yeah, the only guys right now that we know will not play at receiver are Latrell Williams, a Joe, and then obviously Kelly Joyner still out at running back, and then Daquan Evans at corner, and obviously Brian Norris, who had surgery today. So those are the only guys that, as of right now, are definitely going to be out for Saturday. And some other guys we still have a little bit of time to see how they do between now and kickoff.
Okay. And obviously, it's a chance for other guys to step up. Have you seen some guys emerge that maybe you didn't count on or have taken on a new role for you at receiver and could play important roles?
Yeah, I think, really last week with Jimmy Horn not being 100% last week, I think it was a good opportunity for OD, and really going back to, our last game there against Howard. OD made the nice play there at the end on the sky ball, deep ball there from Gary. So he's a guy that's really done a good job. I think another guy that had been banged up earlier in the season that's getting back to full speed, USF Terry, is a guy that I think could get some opportunities, this weekend and also throughout the season.
Thanks, Coach.
Please raise your hand if you got questions for Coach. Kelly, go ahead.
Coach, you're going on the road, obviously, a big opportunity. You guys are playing well. How important is it to show the kind of back-to-back, like strong performances to show like some positive momentum right now?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question. I think the big message that I've had to our team is, good teams improve each week. And obviously we've only played 3 weeks, but we definitely improved from, where we were against BYU to the next week against Howard. And then I felt like we took another big step from Howard to Florida. So, now it's important that we continue to do that. And, we need to use some of the success that we had last week and build off of that, and then clean up some of the mistakes that we made, in order to, be able to have success versus this Louisville team. So, yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's important that we go out and play well. And I want to see us going into conference play really feeling like, we're moving forward. And, I felt like that last Saturday, but, we got another big opportunity this week.
JJ Garrett.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Just wanted to talk about Brian Battie and Michael Dukes a little. Brian Battie led the team with 17 rushes. Is that a number you're looking for him to touch the ball that many times, or looking for a more even balance with Dukes?
Yeah, I wish he could have touched it 18 or 19 times there on that last drive. Could have got him 1 or 2 more and split it in the end zone. But no, I think that really is, there's a couple things involved there. Number one, he's really elevated his game. And overall, I think our overall trust in him being able to do everything that we're asking him to do at the running back position, and as far as protection, and not just be a guy that we just put in there to, give a ball to, a game plan, a special play to. He's really elevated himself where he can be an every down back for us. And then I think, also with Michael Dukes, again, coming in, he was up and down a little bit in the spring, but had a good summer, a good fall camp. It's been good to see him. I mean, that was a big environment for him to go out there and play well and make some key plays in. And then, we're hopeful to get Jared Mangum back to 100%. He's been banged up the last 2 weeks. And then, obviously still missing Kelly for a couple more weeks. So I think Battie really is taking the next big step. Now this week, nobody would be surprised to know who he is. Obviously, they've watched video on him all week long, and he's going to have to go out there and execute again versus a really good defense there with Louisville.
Thank you, Coach.
Joey Johnston. Joey, you're on mute.
You got me now?
Gotcha.
Okay. Coach, I know you said last week that you play well 1 week. That doesn't guarantee you're going to play well the next week. And you're building this thing, but certainly we saw a lot of hope and progress last week. Do you feel like a corner is ready to be turned, or do you allow yourself to think in those terms? Is it, more like you just go week to week and you don't think of it like a breakthrough is coming?
Yeah. Well, I've definitely felt that a breakthrough was coming just overall from what I've seen from last year to this year, and the work ethic and everything, the commitment that I've seen in the offseason. I think that's probably why we were so disappointed after the BYU game, because we played so poorly, and we really felt that we were going to play a lot better. And then we were disappointed by the first half against Howard because we didn't play to our standard. And then second half against Howard, we finally, started getting in a rhythm. And then for the majority of the Florida game, really against a very good opponent on the road, we played to maybe a different level than we played in the past. So I guess I would say I was more surprised of how we played week 1 and week 2 than I was in how we played last Saturday, if that makes sense. Now, I also know as a coach, you don't have to look very far each week. And just because maybe you played well one week doesn't guarantee you're going to play well the next week. And right, we're dealing with 18 to 24, 25-year-olds now. And so each week's a new week and a new beginning. But it really, in my opinion, it starts when you go back to practice on Sunday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think our guys have attacked practice really well. But really, you don't know until you get out there. I mean, that's the I don't know if you'd say scary, but maybe the exciting thing about it. You truly don't know until you get out there and put the ball down. But I'm confident that we're pushing in the right direction, and another strong performance and being able to go out and find a way to get a win would definitely be an exclamation mark on that feeling.
And one more, if I could, to follow up. But in your mind, I mean, we talk about breakthrough and turning a corner, and those are kind of dramatic terms. Is that what it is, or is it more as a coach you see subtle things and you see a building? I mean, do you think there's a eureka moment, or is it more like things you see subtly in practice that add up to the big turnaround?
I would say it's the things that you see, but at the end of the day, what matters is what happens on the field, right? And if we would have been able to finish that game last Saturday the right way, then that would have kind of been that moment that we've been talking about. So there's a lot of signs, but at the end of the day, it matters what happens between the lines. And you can't have a breakthrough moment in a loss. I think there was maybe some momentum and some good signs, but we've got to find a way to win those kind of games to truly reach that kind of breakthrough that we've been talking about.
Thanks, Coach.
Kelly Quinlan?
Coach, has there been a little bit of a learning curve? You have a new OC, a new quarterback, and imagine it's probably taken a little bit of time to just figure out the flow, the play calling, and that kind of piece of it, because you can only do so much when you practice against yourself and that kind of thing. Do you feel like you're starting to figure out what the plan is and how Bohannon works within the scheme?
Yeah, I do. I think every year probably is a new year, new team. I think with the transfer portal and how transient your rosters are now, I think you could probably see even across the country, some top teams that are still trying to kind of figure out who they are. And then, like you said, when you bring in 2 new coordinators, and I would say this too, with both BYU and Florida, two of the games we've already played, we knew with the matchup that we were going to have to do some things outside of the box and be a little creative, maybe to give ourselves the best advantage to make up for some other things, maybe some advantages that they had. So when you do that, it takes away time from maybe your normal kind of bread and butter of who you are, right? And so you're having to do more game plan stuff as opposed to just kind of run your offense and your defense. And so I think there's a little bit of that. And then also to us kind of figuring out, like, what is our best schemes to do, regardless of the opponent. What is Gary and our O-line and wideouts and running backs, what do they do well, right? But T is a different runner maybe than Jaron and some of these other guys. And so trying to figure out that piece of it. And then also, I'm just saying there's been probably a little bit more game plan specific packages in the first couple of weeks, going against, being a pretty big underdog versus, 2 of those first 3 teams.
JJ Garrett?
Yeah, one more from me, Coach. Louisville's coming off a very similar loss. Well, two questions before I even jump to Louisville. What was the tempo and the pace of practice and like the attitude, the energy from the players this past week?
I felt it was good. Again, Monday is an off day for us. We came out Sunday and really it's more of there's a little bit of conditioning there, but really it's more of a walk in corrections from the game. And then the guys have Monday as an academic day, and then they show back up Tuesday, and we get 3 good days in a row, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I felt the energy was good. I think it probably was good to have a little bit of a break there between Saturday and Tuesday, just for everybody to kind of process. I mean, there's no doubt, last game it hurts. And when you play well and don't win because of some mistakes, those sting probably a little bit more than if you just go out there and play very poorly from the very beginning. But I think the big message that I've been, telling our guys and our leadership's been telling the team is, hey, we got to move forward, and we got to take the positives of that and apply that next week. And then we also have to apply the difficult things that happened in that game. We got to be ready because we could be in the very same situation. But overall, I feel like our guys, from what I can see and what I could observe from watching practice, I feel like they've turned the page. And obviously we'll learn a little bit more maybe Saturday at 12.
Yes, sir. And then one more from me. Louisville's coming off, a very similar loss. It seems like it's going to be an even matchup. What are some of those little things that's going to prevail you guys? What you're looking for to turn that corner.
Yeah, I think number one, I want to see a carryover of the belief. I want to see a carryover of the confidence. I want to see a carryover of how hard our guys played last week. And then I want to see, improvement in cleaning up some of the mistakes, right? The things that we can control, right? The snaps and the holds and, jumping off sides and maybe a few of the penalty situations. I want to see us kind of take that next step. That's really what it's going to come down to. And to your point, I did tell the players after the game in the locker room last Saturday, because we already knew about Louisville's game from Friday night. And I said, hey, both teams are going to be coming off a difficult loss. And the team that turns the page is the one that's going to have the most success, come Saturday. So that was something that I planted early on. Obviously, we can't control them and their response, but we control our response. And again, I feel like our guys have handled things pretty well, but we truly won't know until we get out there.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today.